This will be an unboxing of the brand new Barnes & Noble's Nook. I purchased this today to replace my current ebook reader, which is the older generation Nook, or the first generation Nook. So this is the new one that came out. It's the Wi-Fi only model. It's the e-ink screen, I guess, model, since they do have a Nook color that runs Android. I really got this just to better, I guess, my reading experience. I was kind of interested in getting a Kindle just because it was a lot lighter than the current generation Nook or the past generation Nook. But when this came out and I actually tried holding it in the store and everything, I was very, very impressed. So let's take a look at the details on the box. It's Wi-Fi only. It's the Nook. It's the Simple Touch reader. On the back here, it's a full touchscreen. They got rid of the bottom touchscreen with the top e-ink screen, so the e-ink screen itself is actually a touchscreen. I believe it uses some type of infrared. Same size display, but instead of that weird, I guess, but it was really cool, I thought, touchscreen on the bottom, it's a little bit more intuitive, because a lot of the times whenever I showed probably my parents or my friends, they would always try to touch up here instead of touching on the bottom screen for navigation. So this is a lot more easy to use. It's also a lot thinner, which is one really big factor in purchasing this. Reading with my Nook was really great for the e-ink screen, but it did get kind of heavy. It's exactly 6% thinner than the original Nook, and then 35% lighter. So, open that up, open that up. Very easy unboxing. They changed the charger color from, I guess, like a white beige to a black one right now. Anything else? Nope. And then they have the micro USB cable. Very easy unboxing. So here's the device itself. Very excited to try it out. And the manual, which is exactly the same shape as the Nook itself, which I think is kind of cute. Welcome to your Nook. Quick start guide. Some easy information. It also has a micro SD card slot so you can expand the memory. And it brags about how there's only one real button on the Nook, but that's not completely true. There's, I guess, 4 here, 5, 6. There's really 6 buttons on the Nook, but it's still very easy to use. I'm assuming you can't actually open the back cover like you could with the old model before. But the cool thing is it's very squared now. It's very small. Screen size is still the same, but there's a lot more bezel, no more secondary screen. I'm not sure that will make much of a difference for you, but it's kind of a trick visually to see how thin the Nook is, because it actually rises before it goes back down. So it's a lot easier to hold, I think, personally. So let's really compare it to the first generation Nook that I unboxed for you guys a couple of years ago. It's hard to describe, but you can already tell it's a lot lighter. You can feel it. This would be a lot easier to hold in the hand when I'm reading. Just push the power button, so it's booting up now. Your Nook is starting up, and the e-ink screen is great. The cool thing about this new technology as well is the screen is a new generation where it doesn't have to refresh every time you make a page turn. So I believe it refreshes every 7 page turns. So instead of every time you turn a page, it goes black for a couple seconds, or for a couple of milliseconds. This only does it every 7 page turns, and you actually notice the difference when you're reading books. And already you guys can see the touchscreen is actually pretty responsive. That's why the bezel is so deep from the screen to the bezel. It's a lot deeper just because I believe the infrared is, like, I guess, sending out a special signal of some sort. But the way it works is really neat. It's actually pretty easy to use, so let's do Eastern time here. There is a delay compared to my iPad, but already it's a lot snappier than my original Nook. I love my original Nook, but this new generation is really making some great improvements. So I'm going to connect to my network, and let's continue with setup here. And once it's asking me to sign into the Barnes & Noble's, I guess, account manager, you guys can see the keyboard. Relatively easy to use. Let me just type in hi. So you guys can see it's already a lot more responsive if you've ever used the first generation Nook. But I put in my information here. I just put in my information. Let me zoom this up for you guys a little bit so you can see. Getting started, so I can do shop now, read guide, or press the Nook button right here. It's very reminiscent of the iPad or the iPhone where there's a central home button. But let's take a look at some book covers here. Shop now, read guide, so let's just press the home button. Get back. And this bottom menu is very reminiscent of the colored Nook, where once you press this home button, it takes you back to these, I guess, 5 tabs where you can either do home, library, shop, search, and settings. So let's take a look at the settings really quickly. I'm going to do device info, wireless, screen, time, reader, shop, social, and search. Let's take a look at social. You can link to Facebook, Twitter, Google, hopefully Google Plus one day. You manage your contacts, manage your Nook friends. I don't have any Nook friends, unfortunately, but oh well. Manage visibility of Lend Me books, which is really cool. Some of the books that the publishers allow on the Nook store allow you to loan the book to another Nook user for them to read for a few days. But let's go back here. Let's do Reader. And then this is where you're able to configure the buttons. So before, with the first generation Nook, you only had one option on which button did which direction. And I'm actually personally more comfortable with holding the Nook a little bit higher up. So whenever I did the next page turn, I would have to shift my hand back down. So with this one, at least you had the option to. Let's go back here. Let's do, this button takes you back to where you're reading. You can swipe to turn the page. You can tap a corner to bookmark it. You can use the buttons. You can tap in the middle of the page to open reading tools, and you can also start reading. So let's take a look. And let's see, we'll actually open to it. No, it's actually opening to a start guide, so it's just giving you some information about it. Really easy to use. And let's go back to the home menu. And reading now, I'm reading the Nook information guide, new reads, and then what to read next. If I press here, I can also access the Barnes & Noble shop, where I purchase all my books here. Connects to my wireless pretty quickly. But overall, just the responsiveness of this device is a big contrast to the first generation Nook. I loved it, but it was definitely a first gen device. You can definitely feel it. They really spent some time getting to make this product a lot thinner, a lot more consumer friendly, a lot easier to use, and a lot lighter too. So I'm very impressed. I plan on doing a couple more videos about this Nook just because I know a lot of people are really interested in any type of e-reader. So feel free to ask me any questions. Check out Twitter, check out my website, themacintosh1.com, and I'll see you guys soon.